Hello, this is going to be a tarot reading for the week of the 14th to the 20th. It's brief. It's just a situation that you may or may not be facing. It is a collective reading, so it's not geared to an actual individual. But I do feel like I'm going to gear toward a general feel so that I would assume if you're watching this that it will apply in some way. May not be the same for everyone, but I hope I'm intending that you can take away something helpful and positive, especially in that post eclipse energy. That eclipse energy hopefully will inspire us to make changes, reset, add a different methodology to the way we move. We may try out a new habit, a new way of being. Another part of our personality might kind of come to the forefront. And if we embrace that, it may make changes in that small ripple effect way that could play out possibly in the next 6 months. So what we take on now and be open to now may feel slightly uncomfortable, but it's more than likely going to feel good to us. And it's probably going to involve listening to an inner impulse that comes out. So if you've been kind of a people pleaser, you may end up putting yourself first a little bit. Just, you can even take it as like an experiment just to see if it helps or works. And we'll see how those small changes can make those ripple effects that end up changing larger things in our life. And they may not be especially visible to us in the moment, but definitely follow your impulse. Maybe do things a little bit differently. It could be something as small as just like removing salt from the way that you cook. It may take time to see the changes unfold, but it would be interesting to mark this time frame on your calendar and possibly even what your intentions are with doing this. Why would you remove salt, from your diet, and just jot down a few notes about why you're doing it, how you plan to implement it. And, on your calendar, you may want to put out 6 months from now, which would be October-ish. It's not an exact thing. It's just, it give you a minute to glance back at your notes and possibly, try to understand how these changes have happened. So that could be really interesting. Now, I'm pulling a few cards just for this week to see what we might be experiencing in our life, and the cards are kind of flying out. So I'm just going to take 3 and we'll kind of go from there. So the first card that came out was the Ace of Cups. This is all the aces in tarot just have to do with opportunities. So there could be this new emotional opportunity offered to you. And this comes in the way of, I'm really feeling that it's something that is possibly pulled out of a situation that might have felt bad. So if something didn't work out before, or something that left you feeling badly before, or uneasy, or a disappointment, there may be something really good that rises out of what you thought might have been a bad situation or bad feelings. I know in one of my personal readings that I did today, it had to do with someone potentially writing down issues or things from the past that weren't good, but the act of writing those down and expressing them either made for a good story or a very cathartic story, and putting it out into the world can help heal the collective. You never know who might relate to that. So this I see as an opportunity of something good coming from a situation that maybe wasn't good, or old feelings that weren't good. So if you had a fight with someone and you haven't spoken to them in quite a long time, there may be an opportunity for healing. It's that kind of vibe. So you might want to be on the lookout for that this week. And in doing what I just said I was going to pull, 3, 4 came out. So that's kind of how one was hidden. The 7 of Pentacles reversed and the 6 of Wands upright is almost like, if you're tired of waiting on someone else or waiting on a situation to play out differently, this is like tired of waiting and instead putting yourself out there. So if you've been holding back, waiting for the right time on something in this realm, it all kind of relates back to this Ace of Cups. It may be time to go ahead and either express yourself or make a move, put something out there. This energy here is the equivalent of waiting around on someone to notice what your needs are, and when those don't get met, you actually just have to say it. You have to just come out and do it. If you're waiting around on anything, somebody else to make an apology, it's putting yourself out there. If you're waiting on the right timing for something, say you have wanted to do something for a long time, or you tried it in the past and it didn't work, and it's been kind of stagnant for a while. If you like redo that, go back to it, which makes a lot of sense because we are in a Mercury retrograde. So something in the past that didn't work out, if you try to resurrect that now, or come up with it and speak out about it, reconnect with someone, it would be because, you know, maybe you're tired of waiting around for the right time, or waiting around for something else to bloom, or it's tired of doing the same old thing, so you just kind of jump in, which is really interesting. This energy is coming out because I'm doing that exact thing. This is the very first video that I will make that I will actually put on in terms of turning on public. Usually I've made a lot of videos now, like hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel, and they've all been private videos for individuals, and this will be the very first one to just flip the switch to public. Like, I'm doing this as a collective read. So interesting timing. Of course, whenever I read, I typically will have a component of myself in the reading, even though the intention is for other people. That's the part of tarot I love so much, is that we really are all connected. We may be experiencing these energies in different scenarios in our lives, but it's that thread that connects us, and it makes it relatable. It builds empathy, and I really love tarot for that reason. So that's how this is playing out to me. Is I've tried this many times. I've tried lots of startups. I've set up videos. I've made videos with the intention of putting them out publicly, and then for some reason or another I didn't. And now I am tired of being stagnant. And no matter how hard I work, I feel like I'm riding one of those bicycles that the speed is set wrong, and I'm just pedaling and pedaling and pedaling, and I'm not getting anywhere. So I'm just doing something different. I'm tired of waiting for a couple of things to take off, and I really just want to act. So that this is my energy in a way, and I have a feeling that it is for everyone else. What I like is the sixes all have to do with kind of moving on. It's progress of some kind. Coming out, fives are conflicts of various kinds, and sixes are when we decide to pull ourselves out of that and move on. And in this case, the Six of Wands is action. It's taking action. It's taking public action. It's a card of public recognition, and so it's putting it out there, right? It's confidence and belief in self, and doing something in a public way. So the last card that came out is the Two of Pentacles in reverse, and this makes a lot of sense. The Two upright is about juggling options, and here we have two options: the waiting or the publicizing, yet putting it out there. And when we pick, all of a sudden, you know, sometimes this can be kind of a negative card of like dropping the ball, but I don't think so. I think this is like pulling the trigger and deciding to do something, and it's like there's no option anymore because you've chosen. So I'm not thinking of this in a negative way. What I'm thinking of is you're eliminating one option, or a situation has gotten so untenable. Say you know, you're in a money situation, you're juggling money, and it's gotten so untenable you have to do something. That could be where the negative connotation of this card comes into play, is that you drop the ball because you can't keep that juggle up forever. And if you noticed in this card, in the upright, the waves are kind of going, you know, they're really, it's oh, the word is escaping me right now, but you know, it's kind of wild out there emotionally. It's real rocky. Water always is a metaphor for emotion in tarot. So he has his back to it though, and he's trying to keep things afloat, almost like trying to distract from the emotions. And at one point you can't, like you have to stop that juggle and face it, and that is the water. I mean, and the great thing is, I think the timing is exactly right for this. I think something that you know, you might have been putting something off, waiting, And this is a moment this week where you decide a situation just can't keep going. So another way this could play out is if you were, say you were like arguing or in a fight or in a silence with somebody else, that you had a situation with that got out of control, and you just don't want to go back into it because it makes you feel bad, right? Or somebody needs to apologize, or you don't want to face that drama. This could be one of those weeks where you just have to put it down. It can't keep going like this. So you just pick it up and put your feelings out there. You take action on that, on those feelings, and you try to make something good out of something that was stagnant or not flowing or not moving, and you try to restart communication again. You try to kickstart something like that, like the waiting is over, and in doing that you do narrow the options, but it's because you can't keep juggling something. So I like this reading. I do want to pull a card about what could come from this energy. Okay, the King of Cups is the energy. Now, some of you may be dealing with a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, masculine individual, but I don't really read that way with this sort of reading. I think the outcome could be that your emotions could be more level. You could find yourself more in charge of your emotions when you just take the reins. There's a ton of water here. All right. So it looks like that there may be an opportunity to tackle something in the emotional realm that maybe you have been ignoring or putting off or trying to wait something out. And it's time now just to put it out there. And when you do that, you are able to take charge of those emotions around it. So rather than, for instance, waiting on someone to apologize for you, you take the reins, and it gives you a confidence that you can handle that when you face it. So this, to me, looks like an opportunity to face something once and for all, or to get back into the rhythm of something. You're choosing, though, and the sheer act of you choosing gives you some amount of emotional control over the situation. So I like it. The King of Cups upright is a really mature energy. It is the embodiment of kind of kindness and empathy, but also not, it's projecting out. The King energy tends to like project out. Well, the Queen does too, but the Queen is coming from an internal place. The King is projecting that for everyone. So you can kind of set the tone. The King is like a leadership energy. So you stepping into this mature leadership, emotionally controlled energy, but it does come with this compassion and understanding of other people's situations. And I don't know, it's balancing out energy, balancing out emotions no matter what is going on. I mean, his platform is stable even though he is in a rocky emotional situation. The waves are crashing. I'm going to run through a piece of advice for every zodiac sign now. I'll start with Aries. More than likely it will be related to that reading. Maybe it's advice for something else or just in general, and I am gearing it toward just this week. So for Aries, I have the light of my being dispels all shadows. It's the Moon card, and I want a card that goes with it here. All right, well, the card that came out with it is the Ace of Cups again. The light of my being dispels all shadows. The Moon energy represents our emotional life. It says illusion and concealment, and I kind of love that it's moon related because sometimes we don't see everything clearly. And so the moon, when it's out, even at full strength, doesn't illuminate everything in the shadow, right? Not like the sun does. So especially on the heels of that eclipse, we might have had a moment of clarity about our emotions in some realms. So what this says is, whereas maybe you thought something, you might have been afraid to face a part of yourself that was considered like shadow, and I know the word shadow work is common now, but there may have been a part of yourself you hadn't want to face, yourself or a situation that you hadn't wanted to look at. But when you do, you see that there's an opportunity for love there. There's an opportunity for healing. There's an opportunity for a new emotional path within something that maybe you didn't see before, couldn't see before, refused to see before, or were really confused about before. Because the moon can also represent emotional confusion, things that we don't see clearly. Maybe our emotions were clouding a situation. So, for instance, that could play out in something that was really disappointing. Your emotions, that disappointment that you felt, may have been covering up the fact that that wasn't the right situation anyway. There's something much better. So, it can happen in a lot of ways, but this is about emotional clarity and making something good from something bad. We have that ace coming up from the main read. So I kind of like that. This is getting in touch with that side of you and what you want to feel and getting very clear on your emotions. Maybe what was hidden about it and seeing the gold within that situation. So I like that. I think it's really good. Embrace your emotions this week with the moon card. Embrace what you might not have known or what you might have been afraid to look at. That's the advice for Aries, Taurus. Okay, Taurus. Taurus is interesting here. It's the Three of Mind, which is the Three of Swords. And this is I am whole, capable, and complete just as I am. Grief, disruption, but it's paired with the Six of Pentacles. So in some weird way, the Three of Swords is the disappointment card. It's the heartbreak card of the tarot deck. Something that sometimes we don't think we can recover from. And maybe it's in the love realm, and maybe it's in a different area. But with the six being here, the Six of Pentacles, this is, again, it's that same kind of feeling that within something disappointing, like there may be a gift. So it makes me think of the Garth Brooks song, Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. Something that may, be heartbreaking or feel heartbreaking could actually be something that is a gift, and that might become clear this week. Or you may be able to pick up the pieces, and you see how on the heart, the gold has, or we're in the cracks of the heart there. And I don't remember what that Japanese technique is called, where the cracks are, pottery and china are fixed with gold, and it honestly can make them more valuable. So there is something here about the heartbreak being valuable to the point that you're either able to be generous because of that. So it is that same kind of energy of something good coming from something heartbreaking. And if you're looking for an affirmation or a piece of advice, it's understanding that you are enough, cracks and all, brokenhearted and all. You have enough to give to the world, right? That you're okay and you have enough. You might not think so. There's something here about not understanding that what might have been a heartache to you could actually help someone else. So again, it's that sharing of the bad brings about something good. That's interesting. So look for potential way that you can do that this week. And if you're feeling like you don't have anything to offer, remember that all of those things that broke you actually make you enough, like you are enough. So now Gemini. The Knight of Swords. I move confidently forward to claim new good. All right. Planning and haste. Paper airplane. That is the Knight of Swords. That is like communication, sending a message. It could be like coming up with a new idea. Now it's paired with the star reversed. So I move confidently forward to claim new good. Again, with the star reversed here, the star, when it's an interesting card, it's major arcana, and it can be a card of healing when it's in the upright. It can also be the big major arcana wish card. It could be the thing that you really, really want, the thing that you think will make your life better, the thing that you are shooting for, toward a goal. And when it's in reverse like this, it could be that there was a disappointment. Something didn't work out the way that you want. And this pairing with it this week, I move confidently forward to claim new good. It might be like, letting go of something that didn't work, an old plan. In my head, I just keep hearing plan. The old plan didn't work. And it's not even that it didn't work. Maybe it's just your plans changed. Like what was valuable to you before isn't anymore. Like something about that situation either didn't end up like you wanted or you changed. Now you no longer want that. And so now you're moving toward the new. But there's something here involved in announcing it or planning for it, writing it on the calendar, something about writing down because nights are active. So there is movement, but it is in the realm of the mind and communication. So if something can't be repaired, then we move on to plan B. And it's that kind of like putting it into action. It also could be something where, I don't know if someone out there is resigning from a job, but it could be turning in your 2 weeks. A job didn't pan out the way that you wanted, so you are cutting that loose and moving on. But there is here the act of communicating about a new plan. That's kind of interesting. So far, it's very interesting that they really are keeping with the same, theme. So Cancer. It is still that way. Wow. That's crazy. All right, Cancer. I join with others in a spirit of support and cooperation. Collaboration, artisan, prosperity. This is the 3 of coins in the normal tarot deck. And it's always the beginning. Now, what I say about the normal 3 of coins is that it's often referred to as the cathedral card because cathedrals used to be built by generations, like whoever started the building. Because the construction was so intense and laborious, it would honestly take decades to complete. But it's because it was so well constructed, it wasn't going to be going anywhere. So it was lasting. And it did require a great deal of cooperation from other people, even future people. So here we have this collaboration kind of energy of the 3 of Pentacles where you come together to build something very solid because it's meant to last. And so I love it. The color green here is perfect for the spring energy, but it's also kind of toward the beginning of the process. Like, this is ground floor, keystone kind of stuff, cornerstone, I guess, kind of stuff. And the card that it was paired with is the 9 of Cups in reverse. So once again, we have this element of disappointment, something not being satisfactory. The 9 of Cups in reverse. It can represent a couple of things here. So for Cancer, it could be, when this card is in the upright, it can represent like a smug type energy. And it could be that maybe you found that you can't do something alone, that you're going to need cooperation. You're going to need help from someone else to do it. It can also mean that something maybe didn't turn out the way that you wanted, and we have to join in with others. Maybe you need to get advice from someone. Maybe you had a plan to save money or start a business, and it just didn't turn out the way that you had hoped. So we're going to try it again, but we're going to go with something really solid. It could be that you need more resources because the Cups card is an emotional card. But now we have to get very practical and grounded, and it may just be owning up to the fact, recognizing that maybe you need help doing it. You may need to ask for advice from somebody else. You may need to work with someone else. Like cooperation is really key this week in some regard for something that didn't pan out before. Okay, Leo. Leo for this week. I am living a fully inspired life. The 10 of prosperity, which is the 10 of coins. It's a card of legacy and prosperity. The 10 of coins is really great. It's long-term stability, long-term money. So pairing with it is the Queen of Swords. This looks like a decision card. Now, it could be that you are dealing with a Queen of Swords in terms of Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, or maybe you have that in your chart somewhere. But again, I'm less concerned with dealing with other people and more about giving advice for you this week. The 10s are all ending of cycles. But in this case, it's making me wonder if by chance you are thinking about the longer term, like where you want something to end up, where you want your life to end up, where you want your your work to end up, where it's like planning and looking long term. So I am living a fully inspired life, prosperity. You may be making decisions this week that affect the long term. It could be something like writing a will or planning out a way to get on a certain course for a job, or it could just be thinking about wealth in some way and making plans. But the Queen of Swords is very logical. She's very clear and she's a decision maker. She's been through a lot of hurt. So carrying on with the theme of that main general reading, this is someone who has had experience in her life. And so she's had disappointment and she knows how to make the right decisions planning ahead. So this is wanting every minute to count. I don't know if if someone is overly concerned with, like, the word legacy is sticking. So it could be that, what legacy are you going to leave? But it's very much concerned with those longer term things and making decisions now about them. Could be putting it in writing because it is a swords card. So it could be writing something, filling out, considering contracts for the long term. This could very much be considering a contract of some kind. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, Virgo. Advice for this week. Okay, Virgo. I rejoice in abundant possibilities. It's the ace. The Ace of Pentacles. This is a new opportunity. It's possibly receiving a new opportunity. It also could be being inspired with a new opportunity through just talking to somebody else or a friendly message. The Page of Cups here indicates something that's kind of from the heart. It's also, all pages are kind of young energies, kind of small. So it could just be the suggestion of. I also find that the pages, especially the Page of Cups, they come across to me as like sparks of inspiration. It doesn't necessarily have to come from someone else. It could come from anything. You could be watching a TV show and you're just kind of inspired by something. So you may get inspiration. You may get a friendly message coming through about a potential for you. If you're job looking, a friend might suggest something. Maybe they heard of a certain company, a friend of a friend heard that this company's hiring, and that's an opportunity. So if you need an affirmation this week, I rejoice in abundant possibilities. Know that they're out there. I love the egg in the nest. It's just kind of waiting. It's also planning. Like aces, to me, this is the same card. We had the Ace of Cups in the main read, but this is the Ace of Pentacles. That is could speak to a new job offer, a new opportunity for anything in the resource realm with your time, your money, your resources, your attention. It says on here manifestation and opportunity. So be on the lookout this week for a new opportunity about something that maybe you've been wanting for a while, and you may get word of it or wind of it or just be inspired this week. Like an aha kind of moment, like that's where I'm going to go. I do think that may come by way of somebody else. And I do think that it is just going to be on offer. I don't necessarily know if you're going to be taking action on it this week or not, but definitely look out for possibility like that. Okay, Libra. Wow. Okay, Libra. Whoa. I don't know what is going on here. This really goes to the energy of the main read. This is the devil card twice, basically. It's crazy. Wow. That's the first time that happened. Card 15 from both decks. So I break free from illusion and limitation. This is really great imagery to me for the devil energy, because the devil can represent things that are just, we feel chained to. Compulsions we have, addictions we have, ways of thinking we have that aren't really true, cultural things even. And do you see how it says desire, excess, and bondage? You know, sometimes we can let those things dictate our life to the point that we don't think that we can break free of them. That's why the addictions fall under this category, things that we feel like we're tied to. But quite frankly, we're not tied to those. Now, this is heavy, heavy Capricorn energy. And what I've always found interesting about the devil card being Capricorn is that Capricorn is also known to be a sign of, you know, a very driven sign for success. So in order to have that kind of success, you would also probably have to have that kind of obstacle. So to me, it is a sign of like potency. But I don't know, Libra, in case you're dealing with a Capricorn, that's here heavily. But other than that, it's almost like you find the key to freedom. I don't know if you are setting yourself on a course of breaking free from something, leaving a bad situation, or it's just this giant aha moment that you have, this realization that you don't have to have this life, or you don't have to have this habit, or, you know, it's finding something within yourself. It's finding the key to something. And it's a biggie because it is a major arcana. So this could represent a huge turning point for you as you move forward and begin kind of a new part of your life. So it's freedom in a way. It's really great when this hits. It could be a rock bottom moment. I doubt it because I don't feel the heaviness of it. But in that main read, something beautiful out of something bad. So I think you're finding the door. I think the most important imagery here today in Libra's reading is that bird cage, that the door is open. That's really wild that both of these came up. So for Libra, it's kind of a big week like that. That's kind of a biggie. I don't really know what else to say about that. Breaking free, you know, freeing yourself. That's good. Okay, for Scorpio. We have that same energy here. I relinquish my concerns to spirit within. It's the 5 of Pentacles. All right, we did get the 7 of Pentacles in reverse in that main read. So this is also tracking. So for Scorpio energy, Scorpio placements, that's the 5 of Pentacles with the melted ice cream cone here. Disadvantaged, insecurity. The 5 of Pentacles is feeling broke. It's feeling left out of a situation involving resources, your time or your money or attention. If you're with someone and you feel ignored, if you're feeling left out of a friend group, if you feel like you do not have enough money to pay your bills, it's that kind of energy of, you know, feeling like you don't have enough. So it's creating a kind of insecurity. The 7 of Pentacles in reverse shows that, I don't know if you were waiting and waiting and waiting on the situation to get better, but when this card is in reverse, it's a recognition that you can't wait. It's like giving up on something, something that maybe you had worked at. Maybe this energy could be something, I don't think it's big necessarily, but if you had started a business and you were waiting for it to get to be profitable and you're just waiting and waiting and going into more debt and it never was, this is deciding that you have to do something new. It's the recognition that, you know, I dropped my ice cream cone and I can't pick it up and eat it. Like, that's gone. Like, it's a recognition of the insecurity. Now, what I like about this is that it represents a point where now you have to do something. So before, it would have just been waiting. Like, this is the energy before. This waiting energy. And you can't wait now. So it's definitely recognizing that maybe you need help. This is talking about from spirit, meaning you need to seek the security or safety of something maybe bigger than you. In the normal Rider-Waite deck, the Five of Pentacles are two people with some kind of affliction standing outside in the cold, but they're passing right by a church. And the church window is illuminated, but they're ignoring that. They're just trudging along, sick and hungry, out in the cold, instead of looking for the security found within the church. It's right there. So there is something in your environment that can help. There is turning to spirit. It could be literally turning to a charity or a church. But mainly it's recognizing that you need to stop waiting, and the situation has gotten untenable that you might actually have to get help. Whether or not that is just saying a prayer, turning something over, you know. I like it, though, because it does represent a moment where things can change. So if you have been waiting on that moment to come, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened this week where you kind of had to stop waiting and just admit that you need help. Sagittarius. Oh, I like this. I meet life with a resounding yes today. The Knight of Wands, representing passion and venturesome energy. The Queen of Swords. Okay, another Queen of Swords. This is great because this, again, I'm leaning on this as a decision maker. Somebody who's been down certain roads, has a lot of experience, but is now very clear-headed about where they're going and what they want. And it's a decisive energy. I feel it. I feel that fire with that decision making. So this is the Knight of Wands. This is action. There's been several action cards this week. So in terms of advice, say yes. Go after it with a passion. Make decisions. Just act. Like, act on those impulses. It's a very positive energy. I would say trust yourself. Trust yourself and say yes. I don't really need to explain that anymore. It's really time to take action. We're getting that with all the signs. Some are more of a recognition that action needs to be taken. Other ones with Sagittarius, that is fire energy. So that's why I said trust yourself. Your natural impulse is going to help you right now. It's going to be good for you. You know how to act like that. You know how to follow that impulse. And it's a safe and good time to do it. So being really decisive, that's great. But it is a turning point for all of us. Like, it is weird that energy is so far flowing through all of them. Okay, Capricorn. Advice for Capricorn. As spirit in expression, I move through my life boldly and joyfully. It's the Sun card. Success and vibrancy. And I did just mention in another sign that Capricorn was typically a sign of success. Like, I always see that as a successful sign. Page of Wands. Gosh, this is so cool that these are all following. The Page of Wands. It is page energy. So it's beginning something new, but it's something familiar to us. Typically, the page is seen as the minor arcana version of the Fool card. The Fool is being naive to a situation, something brand spanking new. The Page of Wands is typically something that we've been through before, and now the way is clear. The Fool is on a cliff, and he doesn't know what's coming. This page knows what's coming. Like, the landscape is clear. I love this being the Sun card. It is Leo energy. but it's something happy. Something might have been very illuminated to you. It is having the confidence to start down a path again. So if you are starting an endeavor, I would say embrace it with a lot of confidence. Know that you are an example. I wouldn't be shy. I don't know why that is coming through, but be brave, be bold, put it out there, go for it. This is incredible. Like, have a lightness of spirit. You've got the go ahead. I hear the go ahead. You have the go ahead. So, interesting. Okay, Aquarius, advice for the week. It is my nature to extend love. It's the Two of Cups. All right, connection and harmony. Aquarius energy, the Two of Cups. That is bringing your emotions to the table. Connection could help you this week. If you have an impulse to reach out, I would do that. There is that Nine of Cups in reverse again. That's a disappointment in love. It is a disappointment. It could be the need in terms of advice. It could be the need to talk to someone. All the 9 cups are all spilled out, right? And so those are empty, and it could be disappointment, depletion. It could be that somebody else has something that could help you. So if you are honest and talk to someone else, find someone to confide in emotionally, they can help refill that. So this is about coming together with someone in an emotional way and sharing. I get honesty. This could be you needing to do this because it's advice, or to be ready if someone comes to you. This is maybe what they need. Maybe you're encountering someone who needs to talk about something that was disappointing. And you may have something to offer that would help not just cheer them up, but fill their cup up. So it's extending yourself, your love to someone else, or reaching out to someone that you know does that for you. But I keep hearing honesty in my head, so. And lastly, Pisces. Okay, it's the 5 of Wands for Pisces. This is a kind of conflict. It says competition, conflict, and the 5 of Spirits. So with the chess pieces on there, it looks very much like a game, like a calculated game. So I don't know if there is drama that you might be experiencing. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse here is about not nurturing this kind of energy. If they're, the Queen of Pentacles upright is someone who knows about growth and knows how to nurture and grow. And it almost might be that there's a recognition here that you're not going to win in a situation with this kind of conflict. Like you're not going to get where you need to go. Something isn't going to grow in this kind of energy. It could also be that there is a feeling of being scattered with the 5 of Wands. If it doesn't involve someone else, it's just this conflict of too many things to do and not being settled or grounded. So in terms of the advice, claiming dominion, I am calm and confident. You may need to slow down and make a plan. Involving chess, it's all strategy and calculation and planning and, not getting into panic about things. So I doubt this has to do with someone external to you, but of course it could. Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. I just think, again, I'm gearing all of these pieces of advice to you as a personal piece of advice. So if you're feeling very ungrounded, do what you can to regain control. And it's funny because I feel like that this morning. I was kind of, my anxiety levels are super high. So this makes a lot of sense to me. And you see how the card is very red? Now she is wearing red also, but there's green surrounding her. So as my daughter mentioned to me, maybe I need to go out and be in nature and go for a walk or something. But it's reclaiming control and calming yourself. So I hope that helps as a piece of advice. This is a conflict card, but it's nothing that can't like be calmed down. It could just be that the energy is very conflicting. There might be a lot going on. So I don't mind that 5 like I do some of the other ones, especially if you're dealing with yourself. Now, if you're dealing with somebody else, this is kind of a no-win situation, and you need to, like, you're not going to win by getting all stirred up in a conflict with someone else. It's all about, like, getting control of what you can control in a situation and being grounded. That will help a lot. So I hope this helps. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to email me or comment. Thank you.